Hi everybody! So the next recipe in Mark Bittman's book, How to Bake Everything, is coffee cake, which is a little bit different as far as being a quick bread. We're going to bake it in a square pan, a 9x9 pan. It's got a really nice streusel recipe that goes with it that gets kind of layered in between the batter. I'm gonna make a few adjustments for high altitude, and I'm gonna use ground flaxseed for the 1 egg that's supposed to be in the recipe. So let's take a look at the ingredients we're gonna use. Here's the ingredients for the coffee cake. We've got flour, sugar, salt, cinnamon, baking powder, chopped pecans, milk, cold butter, and ground flaxseed meal. And the oven is preheating to 400 degrees, which is 25 degrees higher than what the recipe calls for. And I've got a 9-inch square pan sprayed with some cooking spray. So right now Jillian is mixing the, I guess we'll call this the streusel mixture together. It's some sugar, flour, cinnamon, salt, the pecans, and some pieces of cold butter. So just sort of rubbing the butter and the ingredients together with her fingers until we get, until they're just kind of mixed into a nice crumbly mixture. This is the mix for the batter. We've got flour, sugar, baking powder, which I decreased, cinnamon, and some chunks of butter. And Mark Bittman says you can just run the mixer on low speed, so that's what we're going to do. Gotta plug it in, that'd be helpful, huh? There we go. So low speed. And he says just until basically the butter is coated with flour. That is looking pretty close. Now we're going to add the ground flaxseed mixed with water into the mixture. That's to replace the egg. Let it sit for a little bit longer than I have in the past. And it's definitely more gelatinous. I'm going to beat that in, still on low speed. And then I'm going to add the milk, and I did increase the milk from 3/4 of a cup to all the way to a cup. Just going to pour that in as the mixer's running. Says mix until blended, so I think I'm going to take it up a notch here just to make sure it's all getting incorporated. Then we're going to spread about half the batter in the pan. Going to sprinkle half the streusel mixture there, and then put the rest of the batter on, and then the rest of the streusel mixture, and bake it for somewhere around 30 minutes. We've got about half the batter in the pan, and I'm going to mix, or not mix, hello. I'm going to put about half the streusel mixture on top of that. And then the rest of the batter, more streusel mixture, and then it's going to go in the oven. I checked it with a toothpick about 20 minutes into the bake, and it seemed pretty clean, so I left it in for a few more minutes, and then the toothpick came out clean. So I did have the oven temperature up higher, so that might, obviously it baked a little bit faster because of that. So we took it out, and we're going to let it cool for about 15 minutes before we cut into it and see how it is. Okay, so it's been cooling on the rack for about 15 minutes. We're going to cut into it and see how it is. It's still quite warm in the pan, but here we go. Sorry about that. know how it is. Getting that first piece out sometimes is tricky, so. There we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, I can't get, there we go. Couldn't get it off the spatula. It looks pretty good. It's probably just, you know, it's falling apart a little bit because it's still warm, but it looks good. So we're going to give it a taste and see how it is. All right, so Jacob, what do you think?
It's delicious.
It's delicious.
The streusel on top is really good.
Yeah. And it's still warm. He definitely says that it's best to eat it as, you know, when it's still warm, but you know that it keeps pretty well for a couple days. You can warm it up. Obviously, again, if you want to eat it, but yeah, it is super good, like soft cake, but then it's got that streusel layer in the middle, and then on top it gives it a nice crunchy contrast. I was a little worried that it might be a little greasy in the batter, but it's not at all. It is fabulous. So I highly recommend this one. This is the coffee cake from Mark Bittman's cookbook, How to Bake Everything. Thank you so much for watching.